North Sea activity. You can find that in several places. You can find it in Unit 3 under Laws of the Sea, and you have borders within North Sea mapping activity. So when you click here, there's a document to open. You scroll to the bottom and open this document. Once you open that document, you will find a map of the North Sea. So this in the center is the North Sea. The first thing you are to do is to color code and label the 8 countries that border the North Sea. Okay, don't forget this one right here. This is France. So when you go back to your assignment, you will see there's 2 maps. So you're going to be labeling Norway one color, Sweden one color, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France, and the UK. The UK technically is 3 countries. It's Scotland, England, and Wales, but we're just going to do the UK here. All right. So let me just show you an example of what that looks like, your finished product of labeling. So after you label, you are going to determine the borders that each of those 8 countries has territorial rights to. So the maritime law says you get 12 miles outside of your coast. Do you think that's plausible? Is that going to work for this sea? So you can see that I labeled each in a different color. So I chose to insert shape. So if you come to your assignment, I chose to insert shape. I chose a rectangle. I put the rectangle where I wanted it. I did my fill color from right here. You can do your shape fill and choose whatever color you want. So red, and then right click to add text. And then you can type in the name of the country right there. So if that's the color I choose there, then using my draw tool, I would also choose red. Choose your color. And I'm going to do the coast. I'm going to label the coast with my pen. I'm going to label the coast as well as what territory I believe they get in the North Sea. So if I believe that they should get 10 miles out, then I'm going to take my line out, which would signify 10 miles. Maybe I think it's 12, maybe I think it's further. So whatever it is that you decide, you are then going to go into the North Sea and create the border in the North Sea. And then you go on to the next country. Change your color. So I went to insert, shape, choose a shape, put it where you want it. I'll just leave that one blue. Right click, add text. Okay, and now I have to decide, okay, so all of this is Sweden. So I got to figure out which part of Sweden. Well, actually, this is probably part of Sweden too. So I'm going to have to decide with my draw tool, change to blue, what I'm going to outline the border. And then I have to decide, well, see, I can't go all the way out there because that is a different country. So maybe halfway here and then out here. And then if I go straight up, then they don't have any part of the North Sea. They just have this little inlet. So I don't know if I want to decide to go out some or if I'm just going straight up. Okay, so that's what you're going to have to decide. All right, so you can see that each country is labeled with a color and the border is drawn with a color. So when you're finished, you will have 8 countries labeled and 8 different borders drawn. Once you have drawn your borders, now you have to decide what your rules are. And what do I mean by rules? How are we navigating this? How are we policing or governing what's going to happen here? So some things you need to think about. The fact that waterways are used for travel. So all of these 8 countries are going to want to be able to travel, whether it's for personal travel, for vacation, or for business. So are you going to have any rules about Can they come into your country? How many miles out into the North Sea is your protected territory? And people have to have permission to travel in there. Okay? Is there a space that everybody can travel? International waters. So think about that. Also, there's resources. The North Sea is one of the biggest resources found there is natural gas. So how are they going to decide how that's used and shared? Do all 8 countries get to tap into that? If it only falls within your territory, how are you deciding that? What if it's right smack dab in the middle of the North Sea? Who gets to use that? What about fish? Crabs, shrimps, clams, mussels, all of those. If we just let you go out and catch whatever you want, we're eventually going to completely run out. So how are you ensuring sustainability? Meaning that every year we're going to be able to use the North Sea for the animal life that it has that we can eat. Are you going to put limits on the number of fish? Are you going to put limits on the size or weight of the fish? So think about what rules you might have in regard to fishing. Some people might even consider how you're able to fish. Are there certain requirements that you can have that would keep people from putting, nets that hurt the dolphins and so on and so forth. So come up with 5 rules that need to be made so that we can make sure that 1, we know how we can use this as transportation. 2, what are you going to do with natural resources like oil, natural gas, fish? 3, how are we defining the borders? Give me specifics. I'm going 10 miles out from my coast. I'm going 12 miles. I'm going 20 miles. What is your specific rules as to how much of the North Sea belongs to me as my territory? And then how are we going to police this? Like, is each country responsible for policing their own? Are you going to have a mutual company or organization that polices what will be considered international water that's used by everybody? Okay, so then you're going to save this as a PDF. So remember, you come to your assignment, you go File, Save As, and put it where you want it to go. And once that comes up, remember, you have the name of that activity underneath it. It's defaulted to Word document, but you're going to change that to PDF so that I can see your inking. Okay, so you have 8 countries labeled in different colors, 8 borders marked that match the labeling of your country, and you have made 5 rules that tell us how you are going to navigate and police and what rules you have for the waters of the North Sea.